So today, in the peace and quiet, a story behind that, won't go into that just now. In the peace and quiet of our little canal side, oh crikey, there's loads, our little canal side retreat. Moved the cars and vans and everything out of the yard. Actually, really could do with jet washing this at some point, but that can wait. Today we're going to do a burn, boys and girls. I have the video camera set up, ready to do the time lapse. What am I going to attempt to do? Well, as some of you will know, my favourite local brewery is our friends and neighbours, the Brewery of St Mars of the Desert. And in fact, this is my current favourite. It's called The Long Way Around. It's a collaboration with Young Master in Hong Kong. And the reason I like it is because A, it's St Mars of the Desert, B, it's a New England IPA, and C, it's got two of my favourite hops, Citra and Raquel. And it just works really, really well. However, today, what I thought I would try and do is replicate their logo, which is a really nice, sweet bit of branding. But I don't know how well I'm going to be able to replicate it by using the random and uncontrollable nature of a Lichtenberg. I'm going to have a go using two different electrolytes. I've put other videos up on this channel about how I do this, so I'm not going to go into too many of the technical details today, mainly because it's a bank holiday and other people might decide to have a go at it and kill themselves, and I don't want that on my conscience. I'm only using 5,000 volts. I'm not using the full 10,000 volts. Safety first, always. I'm wearing a condom, and it can only actuate when I get my hand around my big red knob. So there we have, that's our safety. And there's a I've just given away the fact that those glasses are empty. It's key switch operated as well, so, and it's not plugged in. So all of these various safety measures are going to be employed today. I say it is only 5,000 volts, so yeah, so it's only half as deadly as if I used the normal 10,000 volt transformer. My issue now is going to be that I'm not really very artistic. As everybody will know, I'm about as artistic as a breeze block. So I'm now wondering, should I put a jaunty angle on here? Or should I just go with a straight? Now on their doors into their little tap room, they've just got a straight thing. So I think I'm tempted to do that. I'm not going to go with the artistic jaunty thing because Martha and Dan are too creative and I'd just make a complete tit of myself. Now the other thing about this logo is it's, as you can see, it's wider here than it is up here. And also this branch is wider and slightly more offset than that branch. And this branch again is slightly wider and more offset than that branch. So I'm going to have to try and replicate that. Otherwise it might just look completely bloody stupid. What I'm going to do is, we've got all this on the, at the moment, being videoed on time lapse. I'll do odd little chatty bits, you know, time wasty chatty bits in between. And what I'll probably also do is a kind of like a commentary, and then put the time lapse in a little box down here or up here somewhere as I'm doing it, or after I've done it, or you know what I mean. So enough of my wibbling on. It's a beautiful day. The sun, as it does, has gone behind Incinerator. It'll be out at 1:30. That gives me just over an hour and a quarter to do this before I get blinded by the sun. But it's such a beautiful day. I'm going to then try and get this video edited and up for later this afternoon or tea time, just because I'm trying to provide content that is going to be interesting for people. So now I'll just cut to the time lapse of this going over, and the first part of the time lapse isn't going to be very interesting. It's going to be me laying down the first layer, if you like, of the electrolyte. Then you'll see me bring another cup out with another secret ingredient of electrolyte. That will then be going on, and then I will start the burn. I'm going to start the center line of the burn first and then try and bring the branches off. So you're probably watching that sort of happening now, I hope, and then I'll just expand to do the rest of the time lapse, which will cover like this, the rest of the burn, and I either put some music. Actually, I don't know how to do that, download that. I have the electrodes in position, and this is where we see, I don't want to get too close to this because obviously I want to live, and you'll see where these tiny little capillary burns start. There we go, that's all. No, that's all. This is a long process. I always tell people this is a long process. So this is the start. What we do now is leave it to the time lapse, because I'm going to need to keep moving these around and adding more electrolyte as these channels dry out the electrolyte. I'm going to need to keep adding to it. You'll see from the time lapse how it goes. Right, we have started. As you've probably worked out from the time lapse, I did the center first, the trunk first, and then these little branchy bits. What happens now is I'll let it dry out a little bit. Right, so we have, I don't know, I'm not sure whether I've done justice to that. Oh, it's not a million miles off. I've still got plenty of chance to bugger it up. I'm not sure quite how well the time lapse will come out. You might just get quite a lot of my head in there, I don't know. Because it's sort of from this angle. I've got a horrible feeling you're just going to get quite a lot of head. I'm not going to make that comment. I'm not going to do the comment about liking a bit of head. I'm not going to do that. Nope. I'm not, because I'm being grown up today. But I do like a little head. That's the first part of the burn done. It's going to get even more messy, because what I need to do next is give it, once it's dried a little bit, I need to wire brush it. And wire brushing takes all of the ash out of these. Now, at the moment, if I try to do any little fiddly infill bits, it will arc straight into the ash, because the carbon is the conductor. And so even sort of like from here down to here, if I tried to do a capillary burn, it would just arc all the way down the existing carbon channel. So by wire brushing that out, it makes a bit of a mess, but it removes the immediate path of conductivity. People don't know about this technique. This is the Lichtenberg technique. It is a scientific representation of the way nature works. So trees, the branches of trees, roots, lightning. We always think the shortest path between 2 points is a direct line. That's not always necessarily the case, and nature's very, very clever. And so this process is a scientific replication of how nature works. This isn't art. The true art is nature. It's all around us. It's what everything nature does around us is the real art. This is merely me using technology to replicate what nature does, if that makes sense. So, I'm going to have a little cut now, wait for this to dry out. I'll probably leave the time lapse going, and then I'm going to take a wire brush to this, and it makes it look really, really messy, but it does clean up, believe me. Again, I'm not sure how well the time lapse will have picked up on that. What I've just done is, because I wire brushed all of the, or most of the ash out, the carbon out, I then did some more defining burns to try and pick out the detail of the outline. Now, it's not going to be perfect, obviously, because of the way, the random nature of the way this all works. However, I think I've managed to pick out enough of the outline to look okay. This is one of those bits now where I have to make a decision on whether I try some delicate little infill bits, or whether I kind of hold back and leave it sort of as it is, let it dry, give it another wire brush, give it a bit of a sand, give it a wash off, let it dry, and then use one of the wood dyes, not stain, just a water-based wood dye. As if by magic, actually it's not magic, it's as if by clockwork or something. 1:30, the sun emerges from behind incinerator. Alright, John works over there and gave us a shout a little while ago, so hey up John. And I'm going to leave him a couple of beers outside gate next week for him to pick up when he finishes, because I've got quite a lot of beers that I've brewed, thinking that we're going to have a nice summer and get some mates around and all that. Anyway, back to the Lichtenberg. I did do a couple of tiny little infills and things just to highlight some of the, anyway, a bit of details and stuff. I don't know, I mean, it doesn't look unlike their logo. Very tasty. Sorry, distracted. Eventually decided on the blue because that's what colour the text is on their glass, as Charlotte kindly reminded me. So I finished it off with that and put their little logo, printed their logo on the wood, and also put, obviously, my web address down there. I think what I'll do next is get some varnish on there, see what it looks like with a bit of varnish. Look at that, isn't that lovely? It's spring, all these young birds learning to fly. Yeah, right, varnish. When I say I'm not much of a filmmaker, you see what I mean now, don't you? The lighting doesn't really catch this quite as nicely as I'd like it to, but first coat of varnish, and that's a wood dye, not a stain. It's close enough. It's close enough. It's not exactly a replica of their logo, but it was something to while away the day and make me think of happy times in the St Mars of the Desert tap room just round the corner. They're as neighbours, don't you know? So there we are, a little something for them when they reopen. And I hope that's been interesting for you today. We have also been preparing bits of boat that has got rusty down there because we didn't put a top coat on. And what a lovely evening. What a smashing, beautiful evening. And it hasn't been very kind of marathon-like crowded down here today. People appear to have heeded the request to stay in and stay at home. I have done a time lapse. I've got a little camera over there to do a time lapse, but it's not really going to pick out hordes of people like we did last week. If you found this interesting, this little Lichtenberg play for today, then maybe you might prescribe, oh dear, might subscribe even to this little channel, and I'll try and think of something original to do tomorrow. Until then, boys and girls, happy Good Friday, and I'll see you soon.